Hello. Here I am outside the other Palace Theatre, just around the corner from Buckingham Palace, because I thought I'd do my vlogging from here today, given the news. In case you haven't heard it, Queen Elizabeth II is dead. I'm sure you have heard it, unless you're living on Mars or somewhere. So I thought I'd come and have a look, see what's going on, and maybe do a sort of a little bit of an update vlog anyway as we go. I'm just approaching the palace from the direction of Victoria Station. Actually, it's looking a bit busy. People are walking along the middle of the road. I think the road is closed. I beg your pardon. Yeah, this is looking much busier than I was expecting, actually. I mean, I knew there would be people here. I've been working near here during the week, and yeah, there were people around, and it was fairly busy outside the palace. But this is much busier.
No, but they wouldn't let people in.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. I think with this many people heading there, it's going to be packed solid, but we'll see. So, she's no longer the Queen. 70 years reigning. And in fact, for most of that, Prince Charles, as he was, has been waiting. In fact, he's the longest heir apparent to the throne in British history as well. So she was the longest reigning monarch, and he's been waiting around the longest. Now, of course, I mean, I will say I'm not particularly a monarchist as such. I mean, I think as a system of government it's interesting, and perhaps probably somewhat better than pure republican systems, with some caveats. The main caveat being is of course it's a repository for privilege in a system which is supposedly democratic. But its plus side is that you have in effect another layer of government, a kind of in systems of checks and balances, you have a check on the most powerful sections of the civil government. So in the USA, for example, in a way the president is supposed to be like the Queen, but really the president needs a Queen to keep him under control. And here we have a Prime Minister, and the Queen, or the monarchy, is another layer of protection of sovereignty, because there's a tendency for leaders, political leaders, to think they should be, worshipped or something, and having somebody above them keeps them in their place.
Maybe we should just head through this gate.
That's my thinking, anyway.
I wanted to flip my flowers to Buckingham Palace.
And she's not actually powerless. This is really busy here. I don't like this. I hate crowds. I'm not going in front of the palace there. I'll go over here. It's too much. Oh, what was I saying? Oh yes, well. Anyway, I don't know. Let's work my way through this crowd a bit. This is insane. Anyway, I would point out that the military, the post office, the prison systems, they all pledge allegiance to the Queen or the King, the Crown, not to the government as such.
If we ever get there now.
So, the monarchy does have some sort of power. Oh, I can hear some music or something.
I can't see anything. Okay, you can hear a bat. It's a bat.
Right, there's music coming from down here. Let's go. Whew. Can you see them in the distance there? Red coats, the Queen's Guard in their bearskin hats. Well, okay, we've got a brief flash of red there, that's about it, but there you go. Let's wander up through here and see what there is.
So we'd rather go get to the fountain, but I don't think we're going to get to the fountain today. I think everything's closed off.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm going to try and get a bit closer to the actual palace, but it's not looking like it's actually possible. It seems to be all fenced off on this side of the road. Yeah, it is.
Acho que é mais para ver coisas, depois podemos voltar e tirar fotos com eles.
There they go in the distance. A momentary flash of them again. If I can't get through here, I'm going to go back. Try and cross over this road as well.
Left instead of right.
And be on the chat soon.
Non mettere così al giusto. Armando, vuoi venire così qui in braccio con le spalle? Yeah? Qui, scampo. Because there's people coming this way as well.
There we go, let's take a selfie and block the gate, shall we?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because I saw people cutting down over here.
He was very well spoken.
Not right.
I'm basically being driven further and further away from the actual palace, but I guess that's the way it's going to be today. Let's just try and enjoy these crowds. Blimey. So anyway, the Queen is a check on prime ministers and civilian government, and vice versa, of course. We have a constitutional monarchy rather than an absolute monarchy because King Charles I annoyed Parliament too much, and there was a revolution and a civil war. He lost it and was executed. There was no monarchy for 30 years. Britain was a republic. But then after Oliver Cromwell died, he was the Lord Protector during that time. Kind of a kingly or presidential role. After he died...
Hey, Michaela! Hello!
Hey!
After he died, the monarchy was brought back, but very restricted. Absolute power was gone. But they still have a role. The Privy Council, which is like a group of senior politicians, basically, the Prime Minister, leader of the opposition, various ministers, they meet with the monarch, I think weekly, to discuss the issues of the day. So clearly the monarch still has influence. And the ministers are the Queen's ministers or the King's ministers now. Theoretically doing what they want. So it's kind of a mixed up system. And it's not at all clear really to me how it works. But it does seem to kind of work. Sort of. I mean, as far as any system that humans make is going to work, I think it's fair to say it is working. And I wonder if the monarchy can even be a check on corporate power, which has bought so many governments, including pretty much our own. I think a monarchy is potentially capable of limiting that too, but it still remains to be seen. That hasn't happened yet, I think. There's another point about a monarchy is in that it's something like, in one way, it's actually something like a democracy too, because although we think of it as representing absolute power, and it doesn't in a constitutional monarchy's case, but in the case of straightforward presidential systems, people are elected and they tend to be a certain type of person, politically astute, canny, wheeler dealers, that sort of person. And that is a select class of people. It's not like a jury in a court who are randomly selected from the populace. Our politicians are a particular class of people with particular types of characteristics, which are not the same as the characteristics of the average member of the population. So the political class are not really representative in that way. And a monarch, on the other hand, because it's hereditary, not elected, the kind of person you get as the next monarch is random. They can be competent, they can be canny, they can be empathetic, qualities that the Queen is said to have had, or they can be a complete fool, or their skills might be in plumbing or something, really. You know, they are in effect a random person picked out of the population. Okay, they're picked out of a particular family, but I think parents will understand that, or even pet owners, everybody has their own unique personality and style. And the Queen's children are not like clones of the Queen. So in that sense, a monarch is a bit more random than a mere politician or a mere wealthy person. That does mean, of course, historically we've had some appalling, totally incompetent monarchs. Charles I, obviously, got it dead wrong. Charles II, when he was reinstated, that was Charles I's son, he wisely, I think, spent his time on wine, women and song, basically, and left politics to the politicians. Having seen what happened to his father, there was no time to be arguing with Parliament. We'll see what Charles III does, I guess. He's into ecology and the environment and stuff. But he's facing a government with opposite tendencies to that. We'll see if he can bring them into line a bit. I wouldn't bet on it. Of course, the Queen has died at a time of crisis.
Questi sono tutti i chioschetti delle TV.
In fact, this is a time of multiple crises, isn't it? Energy crisis, wars, food crisis coming,
Di solito là davanti.
eco crisis, you name it, practically. Cultural crises as well. I mean, Cash is disappearing. Everybody's using cards these days, so what happens when the systems break? Nobody will have any money. What happens when they don't like you? You won't have any money.
Vabbè, bambino.
And of course the Queen has died, sort of in a way, dropping us in it. All the crises are coming at once, and the constitutional rock that she represents is now missing. Charles is nowhere near as popular as she was, not by a long, long way. So even though, you know, it's the Queen is dead, long live the King, there feels like a void there now. I have to say, there feels like a void.
So there was this one time where I said to
So yes, the institution will continue for now, but it's not the same. And of course, all this palaver is being taken advantage of by the government to act as a huge distraction from these crises, particularly the current acute one, the energy crisis, or the energy price crisis. Now, my bills have essentially doubled. I'm really stingy with my electricity and gas anyway, so they're not up to the level of many people's. But still they've doubled, and that money has to be found from somewhere, right? And in the case of businesses, I've seen several bits of info now from different businesses like pubs saying that their bill used to be £2,500 a year, now they're being asked to pay £25,000. A small business isn't going to be able to find that kind of money. So, what are the government doing? Oh well, Liz Truss, the new Prime Minister, the Queen died a day after she shook her hand, by the way, one lizard to another, as David Icke would say. But anyway, Liz Truss has said, oh well, we're going to fix the prices at £500 a year more than they are already. So yeah, prices have doubled and we're going to just let them go up a bit more. That's not what I consider to be a fix. Let me just see if I can get through this crowd a bit. This is ridiculous. I don't know if I can get across the crowd, across the road here. Just go on.
This was not a good idea. It's fine, sweetheart. Fine.
I think I'll stay on this side. They are letting people across, but it's just as bad over there, I think. Oh, horses. Horses anyway, okay, right. So, I can breathe. So, yes, the government have, in fact, not fixed the problem. They've kind of stuck at the status quo plus a bit. They're basically expecting people to find another grand or two a year. Or more. There's no accounting for human stupidity, really. Yeah. So they're going to print about £200 billion worth of extra money to subsidise people to some extent. apparently. We'll wait to see the proper plan. But obviously stuff has stopped for 10 days of mourning now. And stuff had been stopped for weeks while the Conservatives chose a new leader. It's all delay. It's almost as if it's planned, but I suppose you can't quite plan the Queen's death. But I think they don't have to take advantage of it the way they are. But that £200 billion is supposed to be helping us stop or put up with the inflation caused by the spike in energy prices, caused by the war in Ukraine and so on. But of course, 200 billion of extra money is 200 billion of fuel for inflation. So 18 months down the road, say in 2024, we are going to have another spike of inflation, say 5% or so, if it's only 200 billion they're spending. So we can expect interest rates to go up again when the government starts spending the money, because the Bank of England will see it as a source of inflation. So we can expect mortgage rates to go up, property prices perhaps finally to start coming down, because they're insane. We can certainly expect to see many business failures. There is a cap on domestic fuel prices, but not on business prices, and that's why those pubs I mentioned are seeing their bills being put up by 10 times. And this is happening to a lot of small businesses. So the government has said they will do something about that too, but I don't know what. But we can expect, nevertheless, if it's a half-baked fix like they've done with domestic prices, of just fixing it where it is now, then we can expect a rise in unemployment and a lot of businesses closing down. Disaster capitalists, of course, see that as a good thing. They think that when inefficient businesses close, then new businesses will come along in their place. Yes, it's kind of partly correct, of course, as all these funny arguments are. But there's a lot of capital going down the drain, and a lot of debt being serviced, which is wasted money, which could be used to set up businesses. So it's not all constructive destruction. I don't think this is going to stop a big recession or depression, really.
It's not something that I would like to touch.
This is St James's Park, by the way. I've been here before recently, and the grass is green again. It had gone completely brown last time I was here, but it's growing back. August is over, it's September now. Life goes on. Now it's worth pointing out that the next crisis after the energy crisis is probably going to be a food crisis. There are fertiliser shortages. Fertiliser is often manufactured from hydrocarbons, so gas and oil, among other minerals, many of which are sourced from places like Russia. Okay, so there are fertiliser manufactories closing because they can't afford the bills. There have been, over the last couple of years, there have been an enormous number of fires and accidents at food companies, particularly in the USA, but also elsewhere. Some people say it's sabotage. I have no idea, obviously. but it's certainly strangely coincidental. There's also a shortage of cooking oils and wheat, of course, because Ukraine. So I think next year we might even see a bit of food rationing in the West and much worse elsewhere. And very high prices, of course. And the big rise in homelessness and all the rest of it. The rent's going up, of course, because of the inflation.
If you went through this way, it's about
רוצה להתחתן עם בת זוגתו? קמילה. קמילה פארקר, שהיא גרושה. אמא שלו אומרת... לא, היא לא אמריקאית.
Let's look at some Tweety birds, shall we, for a bit?
Look there, come. Look, it's there. Oh, how did we see them? Not you. I know I did.
If you look carefully, you'll see the parakeet there in the middle of the picture.
Oh, hi! Will you be my friend?
And then he was doing that to me. He had, obviously had cameras in there. He had badges and photos and everything.
There you go, some real life for a change. I suppose, of course, we have an ecology crisis as well, and Charles III is very eco-minded. Again, as I was saying, in complete opposition to the Tory government and many other governments around the world. We'll see. I'm interested to see if he can push them a bit, because really they're doing nothing much. They're only dealing with the energy crisis because of money. And of course, to deal with it, there's talk of starting up coal-fired power stations and drilling more oil and fracking and all the rest as emergency measures. And sure, if people can't heat and eat, there will be trouble for them. But it's mortgaging the future as well, so a difficult problem. And of course they don't want to nationalise the utilities, which would probably be a better solution and cheaper. It's better, of course, from their point of view, for the wealthy companies to keep on giving money to their wealthy shareholders and not investing in infrastructure. So yes, like many, I'm kind of confused about how the monarchy is supposed to work, because the government of the day decides what it's going to do, and yet they meet up with the monarch every week or so to discuss it all. So there'll be absolutely no point in doing that if the monarch had no influence.
Well, they don't realise
but how it actually works is all seemingly kept pretty quiet, if you ask me. If you know, leave a comment. Okay, the crowd has thinned out a bit down this end of the mall, that's good. I can hear something. It's the household cavalry, I think. They have pointy hats with feathers on them. Looks like they're heading down towards the Admiralty and all that sort of place, so let's go down there and see.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Mum. Mum, go on it, Bud.
يقولوا فهد الحواجز هم يقولوا حواجز ما حواجز.
I think I can see them down there. Yeah, I think I can. Little dots off in the distance.
I am. Do you want my sister's name?
Widać tam tego niedaleko, czy nie widać?
What was that bang noise? Did you hear it? Another one. It's not this lorry here, is it? Oh, I think I know. 21 gun salute or something like that. Maybe 70. It's not happening here though, it's coming from somewhere else. Maybe up by the palace, I'm not sure. We're not there now. I specially programmed this walk so that I miss everything, so don't worry. Can't really see much, but we'll see if anything happens. To be fair, it looks like they're going to be hanging around here doing nothing for ages, actually. I might wander off. Get bored of this stuff quickly if you're just watching it, doing nothing. Can still hear the umpteen gun salute though. Yeah, I'm afraid I've had enough of standing around. Let's see what else is going on, if anything. You can still hear the guns going off there. War Memorial, of course. Oh, watch those metal pillars. Look at that. They look solid, but they're high-tech, really. Sounds like the umpteen gun salute has finished, so I might as well head up towards Downing Street and that general area. For the last few minutes of the video, I think that's probably all we're going to see, but let's just have a little look. I don't feel like heading back towards the crowds, to be honest.
We're on working on day 2, obviously now, yeah? We're on day 2, so that's where we're at, basically.
Kita in Alphatucana. Gibt es keine Kita?
Yeah.
But, oh look. That was this one. That's good.
So that is this end of Downing Street. All fenced off these days, since about the 80s. The entrance to the Churchill War Rooms is on the right there, and that's Clive of India up ahead. And this is the Treasury, basically all along this side of the street, the entire block basically. Well, I guess there's nothing much happening around here. It looks pretty normal. That's, I guess, the end of this vlog, or walking vlog, or whatever it is. What do you think of the format? Is it better for me to be sat at home just talking, or is it... Sometimes I think on an occasion like this, walking and talking is maybe a good idea. Or vlogging with scenery. Okay, bye for now.